What's up everybody, Adrian here, and welcome to my very first movie scene breakdown. And the movie we're going to take a look at is Dragged Across Concrete. Now the only reason I even checked out this film was because it had Mel Gibson in it and Vince Vaughn, and I remember seeing them in Hacksaw Ridge, plus I like Mel Gibson, so I checked it out thinking it would be good, but it's not good. The movie is boring, it's slow, it's racist, very anti-white, woke bullcrap, but there are two scenes in this movie that literally traumatized me, and I only seen the movie once. Those scenes, especially the one we're going to break down now, still stuck with me till this day. Now there's going to be massive spoilers if you haven't seen the film, I'm just warning you, and because it's YouTube I don't want any copyright strikes, so I'm constantly going to be pausing the film as I'm breaking it down. Now the main reason I picked this scene is because it shows how to introduce an instantly likable character, which I've talked about in my other writing videos, and it makes the best use and time of this character that we're going to be looking at. So without further ado, let's get started. So here's this character we're going to be focusing on right away. This actress is mainly known for the Dexter TV show. She plays Deborah, which is Dexter's sister. She's a very good actress. I also liked her in The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Now as it pertains to this movie, her character that she plays, this is the first time we've ever seen this character in the entire film, and it's basically halfway through the film, and everything we're going to learn about her is going to happen within this very short time frame. Just take a look at the framing of the scene. It's focusing on her. She's actually at the bus stop with a lot of people, but you think she's just by herself. Her arms are crossed, very guarded, almost like she's hugging herself. Her face is very stressed. She's nervous about something. You will learn in a few seconds that she basically has a severe case of agoraphobia, which is she gets nervous and panic attacks in public, but she's doing the best she can to overcome her problem. So the way she's dressed, a business suit type outfit, you learn that she works at a high-end bank, but she's just a regular looking person. She's very relatable and common looking. So as you can see, the bus shows up, she's at the bus stop, and there's a bunch of people there. She's not alone, but look at the gap between her and the people. It's to show that she's very nervous and scared to really be a part of a group, isolated almost. So spoiler alert, she doesn't get on the bus. Everybody goes on. She's contemplating whether she should get on the bus or not. She makes an attempt. She gets right up to the door, and then she's really freaking out now. So after the bus driver asked her, "Hey, do you need assistance?" She says no, but you can clearly see on her face that she's starting to panic. She leaves the bus stop. And even right there, she kind of trips a little bit. She's like second guessing for like a millisecond. Should I go back? No, okay, keep going. And she even picks up the pace and not jogs, but skips away faster because she's really nervous now. So she gets into an elevator by herself. She's pressing the button like, come on, close. There's even a guy that's gonna show up and he's gonna be like, hey, can you hold the elevator? But she doesn't. She panics even more and she presses the button even faster, and he's trying to get to the elevator doors, and before he can make it, she literally pushes the doors closed to try to close them faster. So see, she's panicking, it's closing, and then there she goes. Nope, you ain't getting in there. So that's just like a little extra scene to show you how bad her condition really is. Now she can breathe. Now she's gonna go back to her apartment. So she opens the door, but you can see the latch is on it. And basically her husband is home. They have a baby together and he won't let her in. And there's a exchange conversation back and forth, quick exposition about what the situation is between them and why he put the chain on the door. Now from a dialogue perspective, a good note here is that this dialogue starts in the middle of a conversation.
We have been here for 3.5 hours. Now, how many different ways do you want me to tell the same story?
This situation has not been established for the very first time here. This has been an ongoing occurrence, as you will learn through the conversation.
Jeffrey, let me in.
Also want to point out from a dialogue perspective, she says her husband's name, Jeffrey, so the audience knows instantly what his name is, and then he responds with her name, so you know who's who. So instantly this character is a relatable character, and you feel sorry for her because she has agoraphobia, which is a form of a disease. So any character with some type of disease or mental illness, you feel sorry for. And now they're gonna throw in a baby. which is another layer of making you like this character or feeling sorry for this character, especially on what's going to happen at the end of this scene. Again, she's starting to freak out because he just won't compromise with her anymore. He had enough. He's actually trying to help her by helping her overcome her fears. That's really what it is. She's even starting to cry. You see the camera pull back and she again looks all alone in this wide open hallway, and maybe the color has some meaning behind it. Her doorway is black, darkened almost, while everything else is bright and white. Maybe it's a foreshadowing that the light at the end of the tunnel, meaning she's going to die. I could be wrong, but now she's complaining about her job at the bank. So she's explaining how her life is so meaningless and all she wants to do is spend time with her baby that she just had. That's really all she cares about, which is very sad.
How am I supposed to sit at a stupid desk and talk about bank accounts when my baby is here?
She's not doing it on purpose to be a brat or a spoiled person. She has a mental issue, a severe mental problem, and I just feel sorry for her. She's a very good actress. I really like her. Okay, so he convinced her to get on the bus. They make up. Okay, but she doesn't want to go yet until she sees the baby. Okay, so now this is the first time they show the baby. Now it's obvious why they do this. You actually get to see him and he's so cute. So then when later whatever happens to the mom, you're constantly reminded of this cute little face. So look how instantly she changed her mood from being nervous and scared and panicking, crying, to the second she sees the baby, she's like happy again, smiling, calm, relaxed.
Do you swear on the life of our baby?
Here is a thing I want to point out about the dialogue. Now, I've seen this type of dialogue in scenes before something horrible happens. This is, I guess, foreshadowing. If you remember in Aliens 2, that scene with Sigourney Weaver and Newt when they're sleeping in that lab.
You promise?
I cross my heart
And hope to die.
and hope to die.
And then, literally a minute later, Burke throws in one of them face huggers and Ripley and Newt almost die. So I think this is a foreshadowing or a setup for what's gonna happen later. She playfully kisses the baby's foot, pulls off that little sock. Okay, now if you notice, she keeps that little sock of the baby. That will come in later at the end of the scene. What that sock is just a little reminder for when she leaves and you don't see the baby anymore. You see the baby one last time? The baby, she's like, look at her eyes. She's staring right at the baby. And even the baby like did a little reach out to her.
I'll see you both when I get home from work.
Now that is her final line to her husband, and that kind of reminds me, if you ever seen those classic slasher films where the person that's just about to get killed leaves the room and says,
I'll be right back.
but then they never come back. That's what that line to me represents. Okay, now she's actually on the bus. Now if you notice, everybody's sitting down, she's standing up. Now I'm guessing that there are plenty of seats on the bus where she can sit down. But she probably chooses not to sit down because of her agoraphobia. She's still guarded, but not as guarded as she was at the beginning of the scene where she basically was like hugging herself. She's still nervous, but she's a little bit better. She reaches into her pocket and she pulls out the baby's sock. Another reminder. And look at her face. She's smiling. She's not nervous. She's not panicking. And the love for her baby is so powerful that it almost cures her for moments at a time. Okay, now she's off the bus. She's back to being nervous, but she's moving forward. She's starting to panic a little bit more because the bus is leaving. So she can't get back on the bus. Once the bus is gone, she's on her own now. She's taking a deep breath. She's trying to collect herself. You get to see in the reflection this van that passes, and that's going to be the van that is full of those bank robbers. So there's the van, and right now, in your mind, you're like, oh my God, something horrible is going to happen, and I pray that they don't hurt a hair on this poor woman's body, but you know, most likely it's going to end horribly. Okay, now she walks into the bank. Everyone welcomes her back. Now the the other characters that are going to be introduced, they're just going to be really nice to her, letting the audience know that they're decent people. Okay, now this guy, I watched this scene a few times with him, and he's just a weird guy. He over-exaggerates his dialogue, almost like a Shakespearean actor, says really big, elaborate words and adjectives. I don't understand why they chose to make this character talk this way, but he's not a bad character, he's not a bad person, but he seems like an overall nice guy.
Welcome back and congratulations on bringing such a lovely boy child.
He's weird, that's all I can say. He's really weird.
Your absence was a weight upon us. Your return is a divine blessing.
This dialogue is so ridiculous and exaggerated. Okay, now you get this character, and again, she compliments her on having her baby and how great she looks so soon after giving birth. She even has some cupcakes. So this is like a quick way of just making you like this character because she's paying compliments, she's nice, she's welcoming you back, and she has cupcakes. Anybody that offers me cupcakes, I'm instantly gonna like them. Notice this guy that is walking into the bank. He's one of the bank robbers, but he's disguised and nobody really notices him. I think the guard does, but he's not alarmed in any way. Okay, now she looks over to see this display that her employees made for her with the help of her husband as a surprise, as a welcome back present. Now the reason this happens in the scene is to remind you about the baby, but you also have a framed picture of the baby, and you get to see the baby, and it's constantly reminding you visually.
A small token, a minuscule manifestation of our affection.
Can't this guy just say it was a welcome back present? Why he has to say it like he's freaking Macbeth? I don't get it. He's getting annoying now, I think.
Thank you for this. Really.
And she gives like one last long glance at that display. She's smiling, she's happy. And then all of a sudden, as you notice, behind her, it went from a bright light windows to being blacked out by the van.
No era me juego.
Okay, so that guy that came in earlier, that was disguised, he's actually a black guy, dressed up as a white guy in whiteface. Now these guys walk in, so this guy has a recording of what he wants them to do, and his voice is disguised. See, they're focusing on her.
Front of the bank.
So the main bad guy, out of all the people he could have picked, he picks her on her first day back after 3 months after giving birth. And if you notice in the frame, what do you see besides her and everyone else? You see that display of the baby constantly reminding you what she's about to lose.
You seem honest and obedient.
And she does. And they even did a closer shot of her, and there's the baby in the frame. So he tells her to handcuff every person here. And then it says on the recording that if you even look at anybody the wrong way or talk to anyone, you will instantly be executed. Okay, so he told him to go to the vault, bring back the money, and if he doesn't come back in 3 minutes or less, they're gonna kill that woman in the back. And now you can hear the ticking. There's a ticking clock. They did that, I guess, to up the tension, almost like a bomb is gonna go off if you don't disarm it. So he signals to her with his eyes that he wrote a message. All he wants to do is press send. It's an email to send help. So he says send it, but she's like no. He's looking at the robbers to see what they're doing, and he's gonna press the button. And then she goes to stop him. Big mistake. Now I'm gonna warn you, this is very graphic. So if you don't want to see this, look away. They instantly shoot her hands off. Look at that. She falls to the ground, but she's not dead. And instantly you're like, why? Why did this have to happen to this poor, innocent woman? The weird thing is she's not in excruciating pain, I guess because of the adrenaline. And what does she do with her one somewhat good hand that still has a few fingers? Reaches into her pocket and she holds up the baby's sock. She holds it up to the bank robbers and she says her final line, can you make sure that my baby gets this? Knowing that she's going to die. Now the thing is, they didn't have to finish her off and kill her. I mean, she's pretty much immobilized. There's nothing she can do. I thought when I first saw this film that they were going to let her live. They don't, which makes you hate these guys even more. She also tells the bank robbers the baby's name. So the last word she said before being killed right now was her baby's name.
Will you make sure my baby gets his? His name is Jackson.
And then they execute her in the most violent way. They did that on purpose because it's bad enough that they killed her, but they could have killed her in a non-graphic way or off screen or hinted, or they could have just focused the camera on his gun. You could have heard the reaction of the people, but they specifically showed it in the most graphic, bloodiest way to make you feel even worse. It's really heartbreaking what happened to this character. So I hope all the things that I pointed out, I hope they help you in writing your next scene. And if I missed any subtle things or anything that you noticed, let me know in the comments. So thanks for watching. Until next time, see you next video.